This morning's Business Insight, what could be better for an up-and-coming neighborhood than up-and-coming new businesses? Well, that's the idea behind Mortar, which helps entrepreneurs rise along with redeveloping neighborhoods. Mortar started in Over the Rhine in 2014 to help entrepreneurial-minded residents learn the ropes of launching or growing their own businesses to keep up with the pace of redevelopment in the neighborhood. Last month, Mortar announced its move to Walnut Hills and its first new class of entrepreneurs in that neighborhood. Mortar is opening a massive pop-up shop in the former Dollar City on McMillan Street the day after Thanksgiving that will serve as a retail space for Mortar students and other entrepreneurs, as well as an event space. Joining us this morning are the two of the co-founders of Mortar, Derek Brazil and Alan Woods. They joined Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith in the studio. Gentlemen.
Thanks, Peg. Derek and Alan, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
So first off, let's start with the name Mortar. What's it mean and where does it come from?
Well, for us, I think that what we want to do is think of community development differently. So when people go into communities and they look at the buildings and the structures and they see that there are windows that are busted out or the foundations are broken, we do the same thing with people. So we wanted to use kind of a building term. So when we think of mortar and we think of bricks, bricks are the things that kind of are the foundational things, but the mortar is what holds everything together. Mm-hmm. So when we say that we are mortar, mortar represents the community and the people in the community holding everything together. So
well, that's awesome. Well, now tell me a little bit about how Mortar works and how you guys are funded. Either one of you can answer this one.
So how Mortar works, I say ultimately, as Alan just mentioned, we want to support entrepreneurs that people traditionally overlook. So we will find people that may have been previously incarcerated, people that have been homeless or unemployed or underemployed, and we provide them with the opportunities, the tools and the resources to start and or sustain businesses. So we have a 9-week business training accelerator where we teach business basics. We pair that with business coaching through the Service Corps of Retired Executives. We provide free legal services through a partnership with the University of Cincinnati, as well as storytelling expertise through Xavier University. And we also want to help them walk through that process of starting or, again, sustaining a business. We also have a pop-up shop in Over the Rhine and now Walnut Hills called Brick, which is a real, live, tangible opportunity to test out your ideas in real time. For us, success isn't necessarily making $1 million, it's also learning from your failures. So you can use Brick, you can test out your ideas, get some customers, maybe prove a concept, or it's an opportunity to pivot. The great thing about our early wins is that we've had some people who have been supportive of our work. So some of our supporters and funders have been Procter & Gamble, Hale Foundation, Johnson Foundation, African American Chamber of Commerce, Walnut Hills Redevelopment Foundation, and many others who have been very supportive of our work.
Well, that's great. A lot of people getting involved. That makes it even better.
Yes.
So now you got your start in OTR. You've now expanded into Walnut Hills. Talk a little bit about why Walnut Hills. Why does that make sense?
I think that for us, when we think of wanting to be where people need us most, so OTR was a great start. It was a great starting point. The neighborhood had already started to be redeveloped, and we wanted to work with the people who were primarily original residents of that area to make sure that as the neighborhood grows, they're able to grow with it. So what we were thinking was, Walnut Hills is the next great neighborhood to be changed. As a historic presence of African American businesses and entrepreneurship, and we want to usher that new wave of those same things into that area again. The past few decades have been kind of hard on Walnut Hills, but it's at a point where it's really ready to grow, and we wanted to get there early enough where we could be kind of interwoven into the fabric of the community before it changes too much, so that we can get as many people who are in the community as part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem as possible. So,
well, that's great. Talk a little bit about the selection process of the companies, and then what kind of companies are being successful with you.
It's really diverse. I mean, we have people who are college graduates, we have people who are high school dropouts, people like Derek said that have been previously incarcerated, people who have been homeless, but we don't focus as much on their past. What we want to focus on is their future and their potential. So what we look at is what their idea is. If it's something that's feasible, if it's something that they have the drive to do, because what we'll do is we'll support them in that process, but we're not going to do the heavy lifting for them. We'll just be a spotter for them. So as long as they're ready to put in the work and they have a great idea, that 9 9-week course goes so fast that you have to have a great idea as a foundational point. So as long as they have a great idea, we're able to work with them if they're ready to put the work in.
Well, it sounds great because, obviously anybody that's starting a business, they probably have a great skill, they probably have a great idea, but there's so many things in the exterior that can cause it to go awry, that all the services that you guys are building into this help them keep it on the path.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
Absolutely. So like with the pop-up shop in Walnut Hills that opens on Black Friday, it gives people an opportunity to have a space. Sometimes they have the knowledge and they have the business. Maybe they've been doing it online and they want to start meeting customers face to face. This gives them that opportunity. We got 10,000 square feet of space for vendors. We have an art gallery, a film screening room in there for independent filmmakers. I mean, we just want to create opportunities for people who are entrepreneurs.
Well, that's great. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of success already happening with you. The fact that you're expanding, that's half the battle right there. So we look forward to keeping up with you guys.
Thank you.
Having you back on the show, maybe after a few months on there, and see the success of Walnut Hills.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.